Hello, Fairgoers, and welcome back to yet another match. I am your host, Will, and this is Sterny versus James on the Suzuran Fever Fair. I haven't done this intro in so long that I messed it up. I don't remember the name of the shapes. I just know that both of the players' chains kind of work. Sterny has Stemly? I've said the name wrong. Stemly's chain is slightly more messy, but they were able to fix it, as James Porter also sets off their very nice 8 chain. And Stemly is not able to get into Fever, which means that James gets the first point. Some nice GTR from James, and a chaining form that I use but can never remember the name of. And James is just setting it off, getting a double 7. And unfortunately, Stanley is able to get access to chain and is able to get into Fever, while James gets an all clear. I don't think Stanley will be able to. Oh, gets one more. And let's see if this last chain is enough to clear those 2 rocks. It is not. It is, but James sets off this 7 that he was able to build while Stemly was in Fever. And unfortunately Stemly is not able to go back into Fever, which means that second round also goes to James Porter. Well, I don't know what to say because I haven't done this. Stemly is doing 2-2 stairs, while James goes back to sandwich question mark L shape question. I don't know. My brain has not been thinking of Puyo in a while. Like, yeah. I haven't exactly participated in a lot of Puyo events lately. Just been focused on other things, like getting a job, which I've been failing at. A 3 from Stanley. James is able to nullify it and then get into main. But Stanley was also able to get into main, so let's see which one is. James's has less power, however it gets James into Fever, which he is now able to freely extend. Except Big Puyo. Unfortunately, the extension actually makes it so that James only has enough for 1 chain, and with as little resources as he has on the actual board, it's the first Stemly is able to take their first round. I should also ask Lux for gender. Lux is offline, I can't. So I'll just use they them. Back to this training formation for James, and Stemly is doing some freestyling shenanigans, which we always enjoy. Oh, main from James. Stemly is able to also get to their main. However, not enough to counter, but enough to get into fever. James has a lot of time to just build. I didn't even say what part of the bracket this was. Do I even know? Ceresto. Oh, it's losers round one. It's losers round one. I'm pretty sure. Tsuite kinasai. I completely zoned the fuck out. What the hell? I started replaying bad memories. Oh dear. More like embarrassing memories, not bad. Meh. Whatever. Anyway, an all clear for James Porter. Thank you for zoning me back in, brain. I got to experience Beam. That wouldn't have been another all clear, unfortunately. But James just sets off the all clear without extending too hard, and forces Stemly into fever. However, Stemly doesn't have any garbage to clear, which means that Stemly now just has a fever locked and loaded to throw down. Oh, was almost able to get that extension off, however, fever ends. However, now it's James that is in fever, and Stemly that has to build until James eventually is able to counter, which the time is now. Oh, okay. Stemly is still able to get their chain off. And is able to access fever. However, James has a more advanced fever than Stemly is, so Stemly will have some garbage in fever that will prevent them from extending. Luckily, not much of a problem, as the game didn't destroy them right there then and there, and actually just allowed them to get the chain off. And with... Oh, James is just barely able to get to fever. Now Stemly needs to gather up some resources, as this was gonna counter, and wasn't able to get enough resources, which means that James is the one that takes the lead in this tiebreaker. I mean, it's still a tiebreaker even if it's not the last round. So. Resto. An all clear from James! Hell yeah. All clears will always get a pass for me. does their beam. A lot of pressure coming from James, which Stemly is not able to counter, but is able to find a workaround. Still has access to chain. Decides to not extend, sees that James doesn't have too many resources, so just sets off chain. James is able to get an all clear, almost able to get an all clear going into Fever for a Fever cannon. However, no, game did not allow. Stemly's Fever has ran out, which means that it's time to gather some resources. Or actually, now that James is buried, time to set off something to kill, maybe? James is able to just simply sacrifice one Fever chain to be able to still send something off so that he doesn't die. He's able to get an all clear, does not get the color needed to pop. No, that's so tragic. Dang. Unfortunate. Oh, main from James. But Stemly is able to get the Fever. Oh, Stemly extends. And it works out. James pulling up the pressure so that Stemly is forced to just set off without extending. Does not counter the garbage that was already there, however, gets an all clear in Fever so that next time that they go into Fever, if they do, it will be stronger. Able to a heavy chain from James. However, Stemly had resources and is able to get into Fever with a low amount of garbage left to deflect. Cuts a little, but still sends a lot of garbage of nuisance to James. Extends a little, very nice. And James is not able to get into Fever or deflect all the incoming garbage, which means that this time Stemly is the one that takes away the lead in this tiebreaker. A little hesitation there, which James takes advantage of. Very nice way to chain with the garbage there on Stemly's board. However, main is coming from James, and Stemly does not quite have enough to get into Fever, which means that we're back to a tie. Wait. Oh, never mind. I said that too quickly. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey, scary all clear from James there. This even overpowers the chain that Stemly had in Fever. which means that Stemly is not able to get anything. I know they're all clear from James, but Stemly is not able to get anything, which means that it's still back to a tie. A quick 3 from Stemly. Why, that was so delayed, bro. Come on. Get back. Stemly is burning through too many resources while James has a functioning full chain. Oh, yep. Too much single popping, too little chain building. You have 20 on your fever timer, however, you don't have the resources to go into fever, that's not gonna help you. Luckily, Stemly is still able to just claw on by. And goes into fever. 3 from James. Oof, all the resources are buried. James needs to make new ones. Never mind! I lied. I'm a filthy, filthy liar. An extension from Stemly. James gonna be able to counter everything. James still has a lot of time on people. Oh! The game cucked him. We love that. If James didn't get the wrong color there, I'm pretty sure James would have been able to counter. Yep. Which means that Stemly is the one to take the game. Because of the last tiebreaker of this round, because the round is over and it has finished. Sorry, this is a mess. It's been a while, but congratulations to both players, and I hope to see you on the next fair.